Hello everyone, yes, you knew I'd be back, didn't you? Yes. So, Johnny Herbert and Paul Resta have been sacked by SkyF1. Yes, Johnny Herbert is axed from Sky Sports F1 coverage after 10 years as a pundit, while former Grand Prix driver Paul Resta also leads ahead of the new season. But Jenson Button, Nico Rosberg and Martin Brundle will all return. Now I have to say, is this the WTF1 connection that I've been sort of dreaming about? It seems funny that they've just got rid of two people, and Tommy Bellingham and Matt Gallagher have just left WTF1. Are the jigsaw pieces finally slotting together? Is the reason why WTF1 have been absolutely pushing their narrative like crazy for the last 2 weeks because they know that a storm is coming? And when it appears, they will be sucked into oblivion, never to appear again. I don't know. I could be just an old conspiracy theorist and that could be a complete load of bollocks. But who knows? Who knows what is happening? Now, I'm just a little bit curious as to how this is going with, of course, Matt and Tommy's new channel called P1, which still hasn't started yet, but the trailer is on YouTube. I just feel that this is a sideline for Matt and Tommy. It's just a sideline, just something that they can put occasional videos on. I mean, look, they've got 43,000 subscribers at the moment, and as I said previously, they're going to struggle in the first couple of years to get up to 500,000, which of course WTF1 is well over that at the moment. So I just can't help feel that this is just like a sort of a sideline for Matt and Tommy. But what's going to happen in the future? Well, it's exciting and we will find out. But back to Johnny Herbert, and I have to say, I do feel very sorry for Johnny, and it feels to me like the old guard now is getting pushed out. It's getting pushed out of the limelight. And I've said this also before. I think in about 10 years' time, there won't be any actual F1 drivers as pundits. It'll just be full of influencers and TikTokers and all that baloney. I can just see that that's how Formula One is developing, and that's how it's going to be in 10 years from now. As I said, I do feel sorry for Johnny Herbert. In fact, on his Twitter, he has been tweeting out sort of today and yesterday about his former karting days, and you can clearly see that Johnny Herbert is not happy one little bit about the situation. He definitely didn't say, "Oh, I'm leaving." He was sacked, unceremoniously sacked by SkyF1. I've just seen an interview with him, and he does not look happy one little bit. And when you start going back to your past glories, that's definitely a danger sign that you were certainly not sort of asked to go. You were told to go, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I do feel sorry for him. And unfortunately, it affects people. Once you get to a certain age, it's very, very difficult to shrug off, being sacked. When you're young, in your 20s and your 30s, you get sacked and it's like, whatever, move on. Let's go on to the next chapter of our lives. And that's how you do it. But once you get to a certain age, I'm sort of, 50s, 60s, it is very difficult because it's very difficult to actually find something else to do when you're only sort of 15 or 16 years away from retirement. So, yeah, I do actually feel sorry for Johnny there. And Johnny Herbert, let's face it, absolute legend. I mean, comedy genius as well, but he is an absolute legend. Who can forget, of course, his drive in the Benetton car in 1994. Now, it was supposedly the best car. It was very difficult to tell, of course, because Michael Schumacher was driving it. So it was difficult to tell whether it was the best car or not. I would actually say the Williams was a little bit better, but because Damon Hill was sort of behind the wheel, it was rather difficult because, Hill was a good driver, but he certainly wasn't a great driver. So it was difficult. But yeah, Johnny Herbert, he had that shot at the big time. Unfortunately, it didn't last very long. It was a very short-lived shot at the big time, but he gave it his all, and congratulations to Johnny. He was a real fighter and a real British bulldog, and it's very sad that he won't be on the television. Even though I haven't got Sky, it's still very, very sad that he won't no longer be on Sky One doing the punditry. Now, of course, this also means that they're going to be pushing Naomi Schiff more to the front. I don't know, possibly. I don't know how it's, or maybe Matt and Tommy. If that happens, Matt and Tommy, it could be. We don't know. We will find out later on. But don't forget, of course, Matthew Gallagher was, or still is, I would say, good friends with Alex Jacks, who actually got the Channel 4 commentary job. So, you know, and of course they work together in esports as well. So it's not what you know, it's who you know. So who knows what could happen in the next few weeks. I'm very excited, actually, because even though I don't get Sky, someone will obviously tell me whether Matt and Tommy turn up at Sky, because I will just laugh for about a week if that happens. Laughing at WTF1, basically. Because it means everything they've been saying for the past couple of weeks was bullshit. About, oh no, they just decided to leave. No, they left because they got a far better offer. Yes, a far better offer. Anyway, that's just my conspiracy theory. Will it work? I don't know, but we will find out. But anyway, as I say, very, very sad that the old guard seems to be getting pushed out. I can see Jensen Button being pushed out in the next few years. And as I say, it will be oversaturated with TikTokers and people that really don't know anything about the sport. Really don't know anything about the sport whatsoever. And as I say that, of course, we move on to WTF1. Of course, you knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen, didn't you? Yes. So, yeah, WTF1, as you can see, they're down to 1.12 million subscribers now. They had 1.18 2 weeks ago, and they are hemorrhaging subscribers. I mean, obviously, I've said this before about YouTube. People very rarely unsubscribe. Look at PewDiePie. It's got so many subscribers, it's unbelievable. I think he's been overtaken now, but he was the top subscribed channel on YouTube. But every video he posts, he gets about 4 or 5 million views, which does not equate to the amount of subscribers, because people watch a couple of his videos, get fed up, but they can't be bothered to unsubscribe, so they just leave it. And that's what happens on YouTube. People very rarely unsubscribe. So out of this 1.12 million, how many people are actually actively watching the videos? Well, let's have a look and see. This is the last video down here. Let me move myself out of the way so you can see what I'm on about. So just below me, if I go over here, you can see this is the last video that had Matt and Tommy. It was the 15 funniest WT moments, and it's got 68k views. So this is the view count now from everyone, the new team. So let's just go backwards a little bit. So that's the first video there from the new team, which is about Daniel Ricciardo, because could he rewrite F1 history. So let's go. We've got 68k, 124 best moments. Well, they're always going to be popular because it's like a compilation of sort of things that have happened in the last year. So they're always going to get good views. Reacting to Drive, yeah. It's all. So what was their most popular sort of one that they had? I think it was the season reviews, was it? Something like that. I can't remember. Abu Dhabi. Let's have a look a little bit further down. Guess the corner. But you can see the views. Let's go to like this section along here. Got 320, 338, 77. Now, I noticed with WTF1, there's a few videos with all of them where they got low views. But that happens with any channel. You know, if it's not that popular, then, you know, people won't watch it. Or if it wasn't pushed by YouTube, then it doesn't get the full views. But we got just this section here. We got 320, 338, 215. So that's a sort of broad stroke analysis there. So let's go to the new team, which is from here. So we've got 122. Now that's pretty decent, I have to say, for their first video. But as I said before, a lot of that is people tuning in just to see what it's like. We've got Drive to Survive. Well, you know my thoughts on Drive to Survive. But here is where things seem to be going a little bit downhill. We've got 86 now because, as I say, the new team, people have got used to it and they've decided whether it's worth watching or not. We've got Drive to Survive. That's down to 38k. We've got Aston Martin. That's gone up a little bit. Well, yeah. But F1 car launches. Now, this was a podcast on their Twitch channel that they actually decided to put onto their main channel as well. Only 18k. So it could be because a lot of people watched it on Twitch. Or maybe they didn't. But yeah, so there's a sort of decline starting already. So what's the What's the main problem, do you think? Well, I have to say, and I'm not trying to single anyone out, but Dre, unfortunately, he's the one that's steering the WTF1 ship at the moment. Yes, he's steering it. But unfortunately, it is the Andre Harrison show. And the other people in it at the moment, I'll get to another point in a minute. The other people in it aren't really getting looking. I mean, this actual podcast with the two girls, the Vacuous Puddle of Nothingness, and Charlie Louise, who is finally on the channel after a long break. I'll give her dues. She seemed moderately intelligent and seemed to have a genuine sort of interest in Formula One. So I'm not going to say anything bad about her there. But it was the Andre Harrison show. The other two were just like giggling and, oh, Dre, yes, I totally... And that was it. They just agree with everything that he said. There was no counterpoint. There was no punchy, no, I don't agree with that, Jay. I think you're wrong about that. And, it was just, it was like an episode of The Simpsons with the emphasis on the ONS being taken out at the end, because it was just pure simping to Andre. It really was. And I was like, oh, come on. Counterpoint. That's what you need. You need someone to say, no, fuck's sake, shut up. That's a crap opinion. Now you listen to my opinion. That's what you need. And there was just nothing from there, because the girls, they haven't got it. They need that killer edge. And they need that, fuck off with your opinions. I'm sorry, but every opinion of Andre Harrison is not correct. He keeps pushing this narrative about watching Mika Häkkinen back in when he was brilliant at McLaren, but that was 1998. That was 25 years ago. He's only 30 now, so he would have been 5 years old, and he said he grew up watching Häkkinen. That's not possible, Dre. That's not possible. You'd have been 5. You wouldn't have even known what Formula 1 was at 5. It's just pretty little brightly coloured cars going around the circuit. You wouldn't have understood that it was Mika Häkkinen at 5 years old. You'd only just fucking learned to talk about 2 years before that. Come on. Stop it now. Stop trying to make out you're older than you are, because it ain't working, mate. I know there's one on there that's only watched Formula 1 since 2020, but just stop it now. There's no way at 5 you knew exactly what was going on in Formula 1. It doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. You're only out of nappies about 2 years before that, so no, don't believe it. So here's my surprise about WTF1, and this has really surprised me, I have to say, and that is Ciarán Hinds. I watched the last live stream, and he actually had lots of counterpoints against Dre, and I was actually sitting there going, yes, come on, for fuck's sake, someone give an opposite point of view, and I loved it. So Ciarán Hinds is now getting my vote. Even though, of course, he's a posh Mancunian twat who's probably never ever seen or heard an Oasis concert or song in his life, I still am going to rate him. I'm still going to rate him and say, out of all that new cast that they've got, yes, it's like the Friends cast if they've all left and they've been replaced by B-listers, really, isn't it? Yes, but out of all the new ones, I'm now going to back Ciarán. And I can't believe I'd ever say this. I really can't. But I'm going to back Ciarán because at least he was counterpointing some of Dre's views, which unfortunately are all very singular and not very interesting. And he just constantly spouts statistics because obviously he's got one of those brains where he can amass a huge amount of knowledge in his head, which is great. I haven't got a problem with that whatsoever, but communicating it to people watching, it's nobody's interested, and nobody's interested at the amount of times you go off topic either. I mean, I know I get accused of going off topic talking about Space 1999 and all the great TV shows that used to be on Sky 1, but that's me. I'm entitled to do that because I'm very, very old and I forget things. But this is WTF1. This is supposed to be the pinnacle channel here. So don't start talking about West Ham United or whatever or other football clubs when you're supposed to be talking about football. Keep it on topic. Keep it on topic. Thank you. So anyway, what do you think in the comments, everyone? Do you think this has been the plan all along? Do you think Matt and Tommy are going to turn up on SkyF1? Or do you think I'm just talking out my arse? Well, there'd be no change there. Anyway, there you go. Just a quick video about what's been happening. I'd just like to say my condolences to Johnny Herbert. Seriously, it's never funny getting sacked from your job, as I have first-hand experience about that. And at Johnny Herbert's age as well, I say it is very upsetting. And I'll say, once you start going through your cart years, things are not good. So my condolences to Johnny Herbert there for getting the sack from SkyF1. Boo-hoo, Sky. Boo-hoo. Lucky I haven't got you because I don't pay for you, so that's it. Good. Anyway, thanks everyone. You've been awesome as always. Don't forget, let me know in the comments what you think about my crazy conspiracy theory, what you think about WTF1, and how obsessed am I with Yes, no doubt you'll say that, and no doubt I'll get lots of comments at the bottom with pictures of milk saying I'm milking it. But this was not a milking video. I saw it's about Johnny Herbert, and I've been a fan of Johnny Herbert for a long time. So I wanted to communicate that to everyone at home. Thank you. Yes. Love your support, everyone, and I love all of you as well. Thank you very much. Don't forget, show your support for Syrian. Yes, he's the only decent one on WTF1 right now. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, everyone. You've been awesome as always, and I'll catch you in the next video. Now, have I gone over 8 minutes so I can get some ads in? Oh, I have. Fantastic.